I wrote a poem today. It's called My Son is Black. For 9 months, I carried him and prayed to God that he would be healthy and beautiful. I prayed he'd have all 10 fingers and all 10 toes, that his heart would be strong and he would properly grow, that he'd come out of the womb and light up the room with the sound of victory, crying loudly with the rumble of life seeping out of his lungs, ringing in our ears and melting our hearts. I prayed he'd be smart and get off to a good start, that he'd top every chart, that he'd be the best and the biggest, that he could read and write better than the other boys, run faster than the other boys, and jump higher too, that more than any other boy, there'd be no limit to what my little boy could do. For 9 months, I prepared myself. Yeah, I got ready. I stayed fervent in prayer and kept my faith steady. I was ready to embrace the gift of life that God had chosen for me. And in the face of my boy, I was ready to see the joy I'd feel and the hope he'd bring. I was ready to mother, maybe even smother him with love and give him every single thing he could ever dream of. My baby, my boy, oh, my wonderful son. And finally the day would come when I can cradle him in my breast and feel true happiness and hear the sound of his person, knowing that every birth and pain was worth it. I could see the greatness in his eyes and I could hear it in his cry. Yeah, he's gonna change the world someday. He'll be a leader. That's what I'd say. But soon reality seeps in and I start to wonder. At what point do I steal his joy and tell him that he's not like the average boy, that he doesn't have the same privileges as his little white friends, that he can't walk the block in a hoodie, that his sweet tea and Skittles might be seen as a weapon, that I can't always protect him from how this world will relentlessly test him? At what point do I give him the truth that this world hunts little boys like him in their youth, that right now he's so cute, until he's seen as a threat and systematically oppressed with a knee on his neck crying out for his mama while he takes his last breath? It happened to a man who looked just like him with the same color skin. At what point does the fairy tale end and the nightmare begin? The nightmare of staying alive and free in America, where they sold his forefathers and tarnished their character. Or is it my plight to keep it light, because he just might be the next black president in lieu of the evidence that even though he's heaven sent, he will ever have to beat down this negligence to rise above? Despite my love, that even though he's beautiful and talented and well-spoken, a king and chosen, he loves his friends, he's a leader, a true believer. That's who I know my son to be. At what point do I give him the facts that he got to stay on his grind with no lack and be prepared to fight back? And if they going hard, he got to go harder than that. When do I tell him that he can be a good man and keep his heart intact? And yet and still, all the world will see is that my son is black.